Good morning. First off, from our family, I want to express our sincere gratitude and thanks for all of you being here today, along with all of the thoughts, prayers, and calls. Whoa is all I can say. The overwhelming reception and support that was received last night is truly amazing and a testament to my father. Family and friends from every facet of life patiently waited in line to wish my mother and us condolences. As hard as it was there, one thing that everyone had after the initial greeting was a warm smile. That's because regardless of the situation, my dad could bring out a smile on anyone and everyone. I had the privilege of sharing 36 wonderful years with my father, but the memories and experiences that were created will last much longer. Our father, I speak for Adam and Betsy, my brother and sister, was taken from us too early. He had worked hard his entire life and had everything set up perfectly for the best years in which he and my mom were looking forward to spending time with the grandchildren, becoming snowbirds, and enjoying the warm Florida sun, and traveling to wherever, whenever they felt like it. Unfortunately, my dad came down with cancer. However, my father fought until the bitter end. Even while at a hospital in mid-December, he told my mother, and I quote, "Don't count me out." My father shaped me to who I am today. It took me 30 years, give or take a few, to fully comprehend how truly amazing and wonderful he was, and growing up in the Peterson household that was led by my dad. Adam, Betsy, and I can all safely say that we were extremely fortunate and lucky to have the parents and extended family support we have. I've struggled to write this speech for a number of reasons. Every time I'd start to tell a story, it would lead to 5 more. And the last thing my dad would want me to ramble on about how great he was or some problem that he solved. Everyone that is sitting here today knows the kind of man that my father was. He was loyal, thoughtful, practical, detailed, witty, hardworking, unconditional, faithful, and driven, to name a few. But most of all, my dad was dedicated. My dad dedicated his life to his family and friends. That was first and foremost to him, and is evidenced by the overwhelming support that we've, especially my mother, received during his sickness and his passing. My dad supported everything I did, as well as my brother and sister. I can't even count how many baseball, soccer, football games he and my mother sat through. This continued all the way through college. Thinking of college, my dad and I toured about a half dozen or so colleges together. This was a special time for us. And when it came to choose, he was bluntly honest, laid out all the facts, at least financially, and let me pick the one of my liking. I wasn't exactly sure why I chose Alfred University, but I think one of the reasons was how much fun and easy it was when the head coach and his assistant came over for a beef on wing dinner that my mom made. Of course, my dad was the most vocal and made everyone laugh, asking the difficult questions no one wanted to discuss, of course. There was an ease felt amongst everyone at the dinner table, and that was very comforting. One of the biggest decisions of my life was moving to New York City after college. I still remember to this day when I left Jamestown to move to New York City. Boy, was I scared. But I couldn't let my dad know because he did not want me moving so far away, and especially New York City. He wanted me close where he could still have his eyes and ears on me. My dad and I packed up the car and drove to Maspeth, Queens to find my tiny studio apartment. We spent the first night together in a hotel, and the next day we finished unpacking the car and setting up the apartment. Then it was goodbye between my father and I. It was quick and not much was said, which was pretty much standard for my dad. Then exactly 1 year later, to the day, my dad sent an email saying, "Congrats, Jeremy, you've made it 1 year in the Big Apple." That's the type of man my father was. I was very fortunate that my dad enjoyed doing everything from riding horses, all types of skiing, boating, and to riding motorcycles. The countless memories of going skiing at Peak and Peak with the guys, Arnie, Ramsey, Pete, Donnie, to just name a few. I can remember riding up every Wednesday night like it was yesterday. I can thank these guys for my love of cookies, since cookie time was the hardest decision they had to make each Wednesday. For some reason, the radios all went silent for a while. The camp, otherwise known as the Peterson Ponderosa, was one of my dad's favorite places. He was so proud of the camp and enjoyed everything about it. The camp was a lot of work, but that was one of the things my fathers enjoyed most, along with the horses and ponies, the annual cutting of Christmas trees, three-wheelers, riding horses, bonfires with flames as high as the house, and the Tarzan swing that he built. My dad was a practical guy and told all of his kids to work hard at everything we did. That's probably the main reason I became a CPA. He said there was always good jobs available with good pay. He liked security and wanted us to be okay and independent. Speaking of practical, when my wife and I moved to our house, the first gift my father gave us was a shop vac. That was him. My dad was always there, regardless of the time or place. I knew he was there and we could rely on him. That was a gift, and one that was probably not talked about all the time, which will be missed dearly. For my entire life, I can't think of a time when my dad was unavailable to me. My brother and I are going to have to become very handy real quick, because our dad was the best at solving everything. Last year I purchased a new snowblower and was so excited to use it during the first snowstorm. However, I could not get the thing to work longer than 15 seconds. I was so frustrated and angry. Then I finally gave in and called my dad, and he says, "Just loosen the gas lid, then you should be okay." Sure enough, the snowblower worked perfectly afterwards. Expressing feelings and talking things out were not my father's strongest traits. However, I know that our dad's proudest moments are seeing his children graduate college, including Harvard for one of us, all of us receiving job offers and getting married, the birth of 5 grandchildren, winning state championships, driving his family around on the lake on his boat, and going to Myrtle Beach for the family trips, or simply enjoying a meal with everyone. Our dad dedicated his life to his wife and us kids. Who else could go from being a football parent booster to a swim parent to a band booster? He did. He was proud and supported each one of us in every way possible. I never thanked him enough because he made it look so easy, and it's not. So thank you, Dad. I'll always cherish and remember the memories created with my dad. I can only hope that I'll be able to duplicate those for my kids so they know their pop was there and his legacy lives on. The endless memories are still so fresh and will be one of the things that will help us get through the next days, weeks, and months to follow. I could go on and on sharing stories and describing how many different ways my father shaped my life. But I can hear him saying, "Wrap it up already." It didn't matter the time or day, my dad was always there. Period. My dad was dedicated to each one of us, a constant in our lives, and will be missed dearly. I love you, Dad.